The Morning Show with Woody on 101 FM.
And good morning, and giving up her Australia Day holiday just for a couple of minutes, Jean Townsend. Good morning, Jean. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Woody, and thanks for the opportunity.
You're very welcome. We had a chat last year, I think it was, wasn't
Yes.
it, about the U3A, which stands for the University of the Third Age.
Yes.
Yes. Now, we want to catch up a bit about what's been happening over the last 12 months or so. So we've got your classes starting again tomorrow.
Yes,
so,
indeed.
Can you tell us a bit about all of that, and how's it all going to get underway?
Okay, well, we're part of U3A Brisbane, which offers hundreds of classes in the city and outlying districts. Here in Logan, this coming term, we have 43 different classes and activities, I think enough to suit almost anyone. 15 were added this term from last year, and enrolments are coming in all the time.
Right. So what does, we've said what 3A is, but how did we come up with the U3A and what it stands for?
Well, as you said, it means University of the Third Age. I prefer the acronym U3A because university is a bit misleading. We don't have any entry requirements. Many of our people are people who missed out on higher education and who want to learn for the pleasure involved and for the opportunity to meet like-minded people.
Jean, what does U3A do here in Logan?
Well, as I mentioned, we've got 43 classes locally of all kinds, languages. The list is huge. And we've got all kinds of things planned for the future as well.
Okay. Well, let's just have a look at some of the classes. There's self-publishing, personality types, poetry, short story writing, beginner's bridge, Photoshop and digital photo restoration, and there's lots and lots more, like family history research, languages, computing for seniors, economics, and the list goes on and on. So there's something for everyone there, really.
Yes, and they're spread out around Logan. I suppose our main venue is Logan North. We have 11 different classes there. The library staff have been fantastic in giving us space. There, for instance, we have on Mondays History, Mahjong, Camera Club, which is huge. It has 50 members and 15 who are on a waiting list. Then we have a travellers group for people who want to talk about their travels and show photos. Philosophy, we're starting a free thinkers group. Genealogy, Latin, movie making, that's a new class for people who want to turn their own videos into proper movies. That should be very interesting. I don't know if you want me to go through the whole list, but we teach Photoshop. There's a group called Exploring China, which actually goes to China every year. A group of up to 30 people go. They're very much welcomed by U3As in China. U3A is absolutely worldwide.
Is it? Okay.
Huge organisation.
So it's not unique here to Logan or in fact Brisbane or whatever, so it's worldwide.
No. Oh, absolutely,
Okay.
yes. It's huge in the UK. Started in France, actually. Yeah.
So how do you organise your classes here in Logan, Jean?
Well, we have an organising group, 11 of us, who work to try and find tutors. That's the first thing. We can't do a thing without tutors. And they're not necessarily teaching tutors. There are lots who are really facilitators, bring a group together to do various activities. For instance, we have a walking group. They walk for 2 hours in Daisy Hill Forest every Wednesday. Yeah, fitness, yoga. And we have to find venues for them. Venues is getting more and more difficult as we add more and more classes, of course.
Well, the libraries are a great asset, aren't they, if you can get in there, but you can't always get in there. Other activities going on in the libraries.
That's right, and we're putting pressure on them all the time to give us more and more opportunities to teach there.
Now, I understand there are about 50,000 people in Logan aged between 50 and 79.
Yes.
Now, I'm sure a lot of those people would love to come along to to your classes.
Yes, I don't think U3A is all that well known in Logan. We welcome anyone, really. I mean, there's no age restriction. Most of our members are sort of between 50 and 75, but we've plenty over 80 and in their 40s. There are obvious advantages to being in a group of your own generation. You have shared experiences and so on, and it's such a great opportunity to make friends, meet people.
Now, I understand you've got about 500 students enrolled here in Logan.
As of last year, about 500 different people enrolled. Of course, many of them go to city classes as well. Yes.
Okay. So what would you like to add about U3A activities?
Well, I'd like to mention that a problem that we have is finding venues. We're putting a lot of pressure on libraries to give us more and more space. And we're actually having to go outside the libraries. We do use neighbourhood and community centres. We want to keep our classes free because membership is $40 a year and we don't want people to have to pay too much. But what we would really like to have is a room that we could call our own. We could have 20 classes there for a minimal fee, of course. We couldn't afford to pay very much. Yeah, that's something I'd like to add. We could equip it, furnish it, put in a whiteboard and perhaps even a projector, that would be wonderful.
Right, how many times a week are the classes run, Jean, is it?
They're all during school hours, nearly all at least. We're going to have bridge in the evenings, during school hours from 9 to 3.
Right, and that's how often?
Weekdays. Well, as you know, 43 classes. So most of them are weekly, and they run right through the school term.
Oh, okay, right. So it's almost on every day.
Oh, yes, every day.
Okay, so non-stop. Yes. Well, and we did briefly talk about costs, but what costs are involved in getting involved in U3A?
Well, I'm happy to say that classes in Logan are nearly all free. All those at the libraries are free. But there is a membership fee of $40. But if anyone out there wants to try it out, you can just phone the tutor and ask for their permission to join before you join. To join the class before you join U3A and have to pay that subscription.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of classes at Beanley Neighbourhood Centre that charge $2, and we have one tutor semi-professional, who runs watercolour classes, who charges more than that. But on the whole, it's very reasonable. When you think you just join one class, if you go all year, it's $1 a session.
Okay, right. Now, of course, if you need photocopies done, of course, there may be a bit of a cost there.
Yes, a tiny cost, but actually some of the libraries even do that for nothing.
Yeah.
And there may be a textbook for language classes.
Students,
we have so many language classes.
Yeah, so tell us how many you've got, how many language classes?
Okay, we've got French, several different classes of French, Indonesian. We have a Latin group who've been going for 4 or 5 years now. The last couple, they haven't had a tutor, so we're very, very keen to get a Latin tutor.
Okay,
then we have
a bit hard to find, I should imagine.
Yes, it's not easy to
Unless
find.
you're an academic or something.
Yes.
It's a pretty obscure language these days, although it's the basis of English, isn't it, really?
Indeed, and the history involved, being able to read Caesar's Gallic Wars in the original Latin, I think must be quite a buzz. But the other languages, Indonesian, we're starting this year with Italian, and we hope to get a Spanish tutor this year. I've mentioned French. I think there might be a couple of others.
I've been trying to learn French online.
Yes, probably quite a good way to do it.
It's a little difficult, but
and it's worth mentioning, that there are so many learning opportunities online. I love TED Talks, for instance. Anyone who wants to listen to a TED Talk, just do a Google search for TED Talks. They're wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing about U3A is the opportunities it gives for you to meet people of your own generation, mature people who share the same interest in you. And that's such a benefit.
Okay. Well, the classes are all getting underway tomorrow because the schools are back.
Yes, indeed.
Tomorrow, so it's getting underway again. And, Jean, how can people get involved? What are the contacts that they need?
Right. Well, they can learn all about it online at u3abrisbane.org or just do a Google search for U3A Brisbane. They can phone me or they can email our local group at u3alogan@gmail.com.
Okay.
And I can give my phone number very happily. I'm very happy to have a chat with anyone who's interested.
Right, okay. And that, of course, is it's a U and a figure 3, not spelled 3. So
Yes.
it's a U, figure 3, A. Yeah,
That's right.
Logan, yep, okay.
Yeah.
Just in case people start putting in THREE. Well, Jean, thank you very much for sharing that with us this morning. I'm sure lots of our listeners had no idea that there was such a thing as U3A, and I had no idea it was an international sort of organisation as well. And we're right here in Logan City, and there's no excuse for the more senior of our citizens not to get involved and, start exercising their brains a little bit more and taking on a little bit of
Yes,
an interest.
exactly. You know, a lot of us put a lot of time into looking after our health, exercising and so on, exercising our bodies. We don't always think about exercising our brain. And the figures show that more than half of people over 80 have Alzheimer's disease these days, and that brain exercise of many different kinds can stave it off, and just think of the benefits. A year less of not being able to remember what you did 5 minutes ago, that sort of thing.
Exactly, yeah. It gets us all, doesn't it, eventually? Where did I put that thing? I only had it 2 seconds ago. It's amazing.
Exactly. Keeping the teapot in the fridge,
Exactly. I've been speaking with Jean Townsend, representing U3A, which actually stands for the University of the Third Age. And the third age, of course, is all as our seniors.
Well, no, it's the age of retirement.
Age of retirement, okay.
Once children have left the nest and one has perhaps stopped work or is working part-time, we have a lot more time to do all those things we always wanted to do, and perhaps some of the things we never realised we wanted to do as well,
Okay. Right, Jean, well, thank you very much for giving up part of your Australia Day holiday to come in and talk to us. And try and catch up with you again maybe in another 12 months to find out what's happening in the world of U3A.
That's great. And I'd just like to tell your listeners there are real benefits from getting active and learning things. Think about those eureka moments, those moments when you think, now I understand.
Exactly. Well, thank you, Jean. It's been a pleasure as always, and we wish you all the best with U3A.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You're very welcome. Coming up now, Mr. Brooke Benton, and he wants you to think twice.